So right now we're going to be taking this call so that we can know for sure if it is actually possible for us to have a female entrepreneur grow as she has grown across board, the challenges that she has faced. We have the Alakijas, Folake Alakijas of our time. We have the Ngozi Okonjo-Iwealas of our time. So we want to find out, is it possible for us to actually have a female in Nigeria do business and thrive? So right now, I'll be joined on the line by Miss Victoria Nkong. Victoria, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning.
Okay, so thanks for joining us on the program. Impact, the first question I would like for you to answer is, as a female entrepreneur, can you share with us one instance where you're being a female, your gender has worked against you in the business world?
Okay, I'll give you a practical example. Because of what I do as a talent manager, I'm also an events producer, and I produce for quite a number of the, would I say, entertainment awards, the Headies Awards, the FREMA Awards. I have had a few circumstances where I am producer on an event, but there's the societal stereotypes of how women should be looked upon, and certain ways a woman shouldn't talk or speak in public or refer to the male gender because you're a woman. So you're in the line of duty, and you're trying to get people to do what they need to do, what they have been paid contractually to do. They would rather take corrections and directives from a male than from a female. As funny as this sounds, for even very exposed people. And if it's brought to the books, like when you have to discuss this with other people and you're trying to explain to your executive producer why things didn't go the way they did, and how you try to step in to call the other person to order. At some point, you might even notice that even your executive producer feels like, okay, I know he did wrong. I know he didn't deliver as planned, but maybe you shouldn't have spoken to him, simply because you're a woman. There are endless number of instances I could give you. In fact, recently, one of the most painful ones for me was one of the artists that I work with. I've been working with for about 7 years now. Recently got married, Harry Songs. And, when he posted his pre-wedding pictures, we're all congratulating him. Of course, I was a part of the photo shoot and the whole wedding planning process. But as part of my job, the confidentiality, you don't speak about it till when we have agreed. So when he eventually did the announcement that he was getting married, then we were all dropping comments to congratulate him. And I dropped the comment to say, oh my God, so many hearts will be broken by females. Just fun comments. The next morning I woke up, and my picture was all over the blogs. And the captions I saw was that Harry Song's manager, who doubled up as his girlfriend for 7 years, is heartbroken because Harry Song is getting married.
Hold on a minute.
For me, it was a disaster.
Hold on a minute.
I put in 10 years or more.
Okay, hold on, Victoria. That is to say that the assumption is that for a female to be able to do business over a long period of time with a male, there must be some sort of other relationship with the male, if I get you right.
That's where I was coming to, because he has worked with other male staff in the past couple of years. No one was ever put in that box. But because I am a woman and I have successfully been able to help him build a career over 7 years, the only thing people could think about is that she's a woman. He couldn't just have been professional. She must have had other things to do with him. It's the stereotype the society have given. I've done so many other things for his career. None was pointed out, but everyone was happy to quickly believe that there must have been something beyond my professionalism and my ability to add value to his career.
Okay, fine.
It's painful.
Okay, let me take you up on this. Let me take you up on this, because like when we have a female being raped, they say she was probably wearing a short dress. When things happen to females, when they go to look for a job and then they get harassed by the male boss, they say, oh, probably she invited that in for herself. So let me ask you, in what ways do you think the Nigerian female has actually helped to paint this type of picture of herself to her male counterparts out there?
I'll first respond. Anybody that says that a woman was raped because the way she was dressed is sick. Because as a female entrepreneur, I go for business meetings where I'm fully clothed in a pair of suits. and I still have the person on the other side of the table making advances at me. And in some cases, I've had people try to actually assault me physically in a meeting room where I'm dressed and probably covered from head to toe, you know, and then they think they have the luxury of trying to touch you inappropriately to see if you would want to play ball. So first I want to just cancel the notion that a woman gets raped because of the way she's dressed. However, I'll say this. I think the generation of females that we have today need to do a bit better, because I hear everyone saying that we are being treated as sex objects, but no one is trying to check what the cause of this may be. I think that women are being more sexualized is on an all-time high at the moment, but I think that we are also quite responsible, because if you're out on the internet every day, and everything people see on the streets, on social media, are naked women and flaunting their butts and their breasts, excuse my terms, to the world, what you're telling people is that that is all you have got to offer. You're passing across a message to them that everything that you are about is sexual. So I wouldn't be surprised if they now see you as a sex symbol. It's like me coming here and introducing myself as Victoria Nkong and then getting angry that you refer to me as Victoria Nkong. That would be confusing to you. So if you're on the internet twerking every day and flashing your backside and sending very sensual perceptions about yourself, erotic messages through all your moves, the way you dress, the way you speak to the men folk, it won't be a surprise that the men folk tend to refer to you as a sex symbol or regard you as a sex symbol. So in essence, we also have a responsibility as women to behave better, develop yourself. You know, when people meet you, when they see you, what's the first impression you sell to them?
Okay.
Because that impression will last longer.
Okay, so let's look at the issue of funding now. We find out that the male in business are easily able to access money. We find them accessing loans. We find them going into partnerships. And then we have the female out there crying about funding. Even in politics, women cry about funding. So where do you think the female entrepreneurs are getting it wrong, or the wannabe entrepreneurs are getting it wrong when it comes to accessing funding?
In terms of funding, I do not think it is about the female entrepreneurs getting it wrong. I think it's the sad, unfortunate situation in the African society. Whether we like it or not, the regular African, when he sees a man talking business, sees a businessman. But when you see a female talking business, you see a weaker sex. You see someone that you'll probably be taking out for a drink rather than a business concern. It's in our minds, it has eaten deep into the core of our society. So when I, as a female entrepreneur, go for a bid with a man, you know, while the man's dossier is quickly treated, I get questions like, madam, are you sure you can see through with this? I get those kind of funny questions. Even in fields where I've proven myself over and over again to be capable, I still get to answer those kind of questions where you're being treated a bit less. There's a bit less confidence in the female folk. People are going to tell you, a client of mine once made a statement, and I was wondering where it came from. In the course of a production, we were supposed to add some extra budget for something, and he goes jokingly, says, you know, women, when they get comfortable with you, they forget that they are working and they just go talking anyhow. This one might get happy and use the budget for our project with a man that impresses her. I felt so insulted because I've handled the same project 3 times over for this client and handled it better than the male counterparts who handled it in the past. But now we had a bigger budget and he unconsciously made that statement about me in public. This is what women go through. So when a man presents a budget, he's seen as capable of handling his budget and gets easier access. When a woman presents a budget, they're like, would she have enough time to do this and attend to her family at home? Is she strong enough to go through all the exigencies that this contract would, the request of her? It's the same reason why you hardly find a female president. You hardly find females in certain positions. Even the ones who have been in companies where they've put in so much over the years, their male counterparts get more easily promoted and rewarded than the females. When a female is rewarded, people rather see it as an emotional decision rather than a professional decision, unfortunately.
Okay, then I can relate to this. Okay, so now let's talk about women and women, because all the while we've been talking about the way the male counterpart has reacted or placed a stunt in the path of the female growing in entrepreneurship. Now we have this belief that the woman's worst enemy is the woman. In your career as an entrepreneur, have you faced a situation where you have female counterparts or female who have been ahead in the business somehow you know, make it difficult for you to transact as compared to the way they would transact with the male counterparts? And how did it pan out?
To be sincere, I see every person in my field of work as a colleague, not as a woman or a man. So if in the course of work there's been some form of hostility from a woman, I would rather see the person, consider the person a hostile person rather than being hostile because she's a female. Now, on the other side of the divide, myself, because I'm part of this female struggle, I tend to be a bit more accommodating to women. This is a confession. So if there are opportunities, I'm usually unconsciously more inclined to wanting to open the doors for females. If I'm driving really and there's a loggerhead on the road, I tend to give the women the right to go before me more often than I do the men, because as a woman, I've been unconsciously made to fight continuously, and I always imagine that every woman like me out there is having to struggle to prove themselves. I think women have to struggle twice as hard to prove themselves in the society. So for me, I show a bit more emotion and flexibility with the women. But then when it comes to my colleagues or contemporaries in my work field, I see every individual as an individual. The way you treat me, I don't try to sexualize it. I don't see it as because you're a male or a female. So I cannot for sure say that I have noticed that women are more hostile to me than men. I can't say that. On the contrary, I can say a lot of non-palatable experiences I've had with the male folk. I've also, please don't get me wrong, I've also had quite a number of men who treated me right. I've had quite a number of men who I feel did business with me based on the fact that they wanted to support the female folk as well. But there's a larger percentage of men who have tried to stereotype or put me in a box or try to belittle my achievements and successes simply because I'm a woman.
Okay, then you just cleared yourself, because I was going to announce that you are gender biased. Okay, so now let's get to how we can move forward. What do you think the female entrepreneurs can do to change the status quo?
So I think women need to spend a lot more time developing themselves. You know what I say to the young women that I mentor is that if you want to be treated better, you need to do better, you need to become better. So what I strive daily is to improve myself, improve my capacity, and then when I'm given any responsibility at work or wherever, I try to make sure that I go the extra mile to deliver, because I want to be able to refer to my past successes tomorrow. And like I also say to other fields, you see, when you're trying to make people know that you are good enough, they will see it in your actions. And Obi Ezekwesili, what you call Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, she doesn't need to stand on the street now and scream that she heads the WTO. Everyone knows she heads the WTO at this point, and everyone applauded her. So in the same light, if I am good enough, it's not about my coming to scream to people that I'm good enough. What can I do to make it obvious? I'm going to, you know, if I need to study harder, I'll study harder. If I need to spend 10 hours instead of 8 hours, you know, on a project, I will put in extra time. I will put in extra know-how, extra manpower. So generally for every woman out there, wherever you find yourself, ensure to go the extra mile to deliver on your responsibilities. Carry yourself like royalty and you'll be treated like royalty. I say to everybody, in as much as there's a stereotype, I work in a male-dominated industry, but I must say that I've had a fair share of opportunities that some of my male counterparts haven't had. And this isn't because I am simply a woman. This is because I've proven to them that a woman is capable of doing it and doing it well. And so love me or hate me, if you want someone that's going to deliver on the job, you're first to work with me, because the people I worked with in the past are able to tell you that, no, if you go to Miss Victoria, she knows she knows her onions, and she's going to do it right. So even if you attempted to belittle me in the course of my work, I steer you back to the reason we are together. I steer you back to the purpose of work, and my professionalism speaks for itself.
Okay.
So I think that is what women can do better. Just develop yourselves, do better, pay more attention to work. Resist the urge to ask for female sympathy while working. Prove that you're capable and you're able, because you're doing not just yourself a favor, but the rest of the women out there who need a chance. You're doing all of us a favor.
Okay, just before we go, let me tell you something that happened a few years back. There was a CBN loan that was meant for women, and a large number of women were to get it from each state. But because I, at the time, was covering the Ministry of Women Affairs, I was opportune to find out that so many women could not access the loan for the simple reason that they had no BVN. In fact, some women were shortlisted, and then on going to check the BVN, they found out that these women had borrowed BVNs from other people. So the BVN they filled on their forms did not exactly belong to them. To this cross-section of women, what do you have to say? Hello, Victoria, are you there?
In most families up till today, when they are considering education. Hello, can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear.
Okay, so I'm saying I'll take it front back to the society. You see, we need to give women the same opportunities we give to men for education and all whatnot. These women did not know better. They did not know better, or they have been groomed to take the shorter cut because they've been told that they are females. So they've gone to borrow BVNs because they do not know that BVNs cannot be shared. They do not. So what I'm saying is that society should make an extra effort to give females the same educational opportunities as the male, for starters. And then I'm speaking to the women out there, please don't let anybody convince you that you're the weaker sex and so you need somebody to help you with everything, because you're going to block the opportunities that are available for women. And then tomorrow people are going to say, oh, but the women are not serious enough. These women should have done better. I don't know if they knew better, but they should have known better. NIN, BVN, whatever it is, whatever certification documentation that is required of your field, whether you're female or male, just do it. So that when doors open that you can benefit from, you don't come and say, I'm not a woman. And like I said earlier, women have to go the extra mile, twice as hard to prove themselves. Our opportunities are already fewer. Do not now make it a lot more difficult for yourself by not doing the right thing. Get every certification you need to. Follow the right procedure so that by the time people are trying to shade off your opportunity, you're going to be able to stand out and say, no, but I did everything that my male counterparts did. I did everything correctly. So why wasn't I spoken? Then you will have a case. Only then can all the NGOs who are fighting for equal opportunities for women, fight for you when you've done the right thing. Please note I said equal opportunities for women, not equality in gender and things like that. I'm talking about equal access to opportunities.
Okay.
If you do not do the right things and follow procedures and processes, you shut yourself out and then you can't blame anybody.
Thank you so much, Victoria, for having shared with us on the program. It has been a real privilege having you talk to us out there, and I hope the female entrepreneurs in Nigeria are listening. Do your best to ensure that you put up your best foot when you get the opportunity. That will bring more opportunities and pave a way for other women. Thanks for joining us, Victoria.
Thank you. It's been my absolute pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your day.
It's on this note I'll have to say thank you to my viewers. It has been absolutely nice having you on the program. We've heard from a woman who is out there on the field struggling. It's difficult, the challenges are there, but then if you stick your head up, hold your shoulders high, you will be able to hold your fort, carve a niche, and then make us proud with you, the female entrepreneur out there. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has done it. We have Obi Ezekwesili and a whole number of other women. We have Chief Alakija out there holding her way. You can do it irrespective of the fact that you are a woman. On this note, I'll say let's do this again, same time, next week, same station. My name is Francisca Ogar. Thanks for watching.